What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So guys, today we have a bit of a different car on the channel. That's this right over here. That's right guys, this is a brand new 5 Series, but it's not just any 5 Series. This here is a BMW i5 M60i. Just in case you guys don't believe me, that's right, this is the M60 and again the i5, which if you guys don't know, that means this is an electric BMW, the electric version of the 5 Series. And of course, it being the M60 means that is the better version. You can't really say it's a bigger engine because it's not a gas-powered car, but I believe it's faster than the normal one. And obviously you get a whole bunch of other goodies like M Sport stuff and all of that. Now, let me just clarify guys, this is not my car. It's not a friend's car. I actually sent one of my cars in for a service at a dealership and they gave me this as a loaner car. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was honestly very impressed by this car, so I figured I had to make a video about it. I mean, it's a brand new i5 M60. Even if you don't like electric cars, which I'll be honest again, I don't, this is a cool car. It's a very interesting car and it might change some of your opinions about electric cars. I know for me personally, it actually has, at least a little bit. Because as I'm sure you guys know already, this is my primary car, like my halo car, G80 M3. I also have a 330i, I also have an X5, so I've only owned gas-powered cars. I've actually never really driven an electric car until this car. So being used to modified gas-powered cars and then jumping into an electric car, I have a lot of opinions. So we're gonna talk a little bit about it. We'll go over the exterior stuff, we'll go into the interior stuff, and of course, we'll do a POV drive at the end. So with that said, let's go over the exterior and we'll go from there. Literally, as I was filming that scene, guys, look what just happened. These birds are savages. Oh my goodness, what is that? So let me just say, guys, if any of you are wondering about this color, I have no idea what it's called. I believe it's Donington Gray, I think, but don't quote me on that. If it's not, it looks very similar to it. But just in general, this car is a very, very big car. On top of that, it is very flat and angular, something that I've noticed new BMWs are all about. But overall, I actually don't think it looks bad. Now, my general consensus about this car is it is not a sports car. This feels like a luxury car. It looks like a luxury car, and we'll get more into that later. But honestly, guys, this, although it's an M60i, which is like the M Sport, you know, better version of it, it doesn't feel like a sports car. It doesn't feel sporty in any way to me, honestly. Like comparing it to the G80 M3, that car looks aggressive. It looks sporty, even though it's a modern BMW. This car, it looks like a 7 Series, which is not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. So this being an electric BMW, you get the blue around the emblems, which is an interesting design. Not crazy about it, but that's just me. You don't really have a proper grille, of course, because there's no engine to cool, but you still get a faux grille, so it doesn't look like a Tesla where it's just completely flat in the front, but it is flat. Obviously, you guys can tell this is all plastic. This, I believe, has to do with the whole like sensing and safety features. Underneath, you also have more vents, more fake vents. The only real vent that I can see is this one right over here, which I'm assuming will go to your brakes or your tires. But honestly, you can really tell that BMW tried to make this look like a normal BMW, except it's just electric. So everything is still there. It's just now fake and non-functional because there's no reason for it to function, which, I mean, you can hate it, you can like it. Personally, I kind of like it because it doesn't look like an electric car, at least not outwardly like an electric car. So I actually kind of like it. It feels like you're driving a BMW, but it just happens to be electric. Now let's get into the next thing, which are gonna be the wheels. The wheels kind of go in line with what I was saying before. This feels like a luxury car. These wheels don't feel sporty, they don't feel aggressive, which is fine. They're not the best looking BMW wheels that I've ever seen. Honestly, I feel like BMW makes some of the best factory wheels. These wheels, I'm not crazy about. I feel like this is something you'd see on an X5. Not a sedan. They do have the M brake calipers behind, which is pretty cool. So in this car's case, you get the red brake caliper, which doesn't look bad. You get the M logos. You guys will notice a common theme. They stick a lot of M logos on this car, the exterior as well as the interior. And I feel like they're trying to force it down your throat that this is an M60, which I get. It's a whole branding thing, but again, this is not a sports car. It doesn't feel like one, and they're not going to convince me that it is. So the M logos are getting a little tiresome, but a cool logo you do get is this 5 right over here. Nice little touch. It is a 5 Series, so it makes sense. This is where you charge the car. Can't open it because it's locked. Something that's pretty cool is the door handles are super sleek and tucked away. I'm assuming that's for aerodynamics, but it does make it feel very interesting and newer. It's like get inside the car. This might also be a good time to show you guys. This is the new BMW key design. Super sleek. Honestly, I really like this thing. I wish I had a key like this for the M3. I think I missed it by like a year or two, but yeah, these new keys are really, really cool. You do get the M style mirror caps, even though this isn't an M5. Some people love it, some people hate it. I mean, it just feels like BMW is bringing more M style stuff into these more base model cars. This is not a base model car, but you guys know what I mean, the non-M cars. And that's just to help, again, with the marketing, the branding. You do get some gloss black side skirts right over here on the side, which actually doesn't look too bad on this car. I actually think it suits it, and it helps almost like shrink the car because, again, it's such a massive car. So these gloss black side skirts almost help like shrink it, look a little more sleek. That does continue around the rear and onto the diffuser. Of course, guys, again, electric car, no exhaust tips. Very, very weird to see. Definitely not something I am used to. But yeah, I mean, the rear actually looks pretty good. I think it's one of the better angles for this car. This car, you do get a gloss black spoiler, which is, I don't know, a little wimpy, but it is what it is. It does look really good with all the other gloss black stuff on the car, which, by the way, this thing will have a panoramic sunroof, which we'll get into once we get into the interior. But so that's all gloss black. So you have gloss black on the roof, on the sides, on the spoiler. Yeah, overall, it looks pretty good, guys. I actually like it. It does feel very tall. But again, the gloss black on the bottom helps shrink it, so it doesn't feel as like stubby, if that makes sense. But with that said, let's get into where I think this car really shines. That's the interior. So this is the part that I'm really looking forward to, guys. The interior of this thing. This thing is so comfortable. It is so nice, and even with black interior, man, this thing pops. It looks so good. Look at these seats. That is beautiful. And by the way, guys, you can't show this on camera, but these things are so comfortable to sit inside. But also, check this out. Look at that ambient lighting all throughout. You guys can hopefully see that. Yes, guys, that's not trim. That is ambient lighting. All right, let's just hop inside because I want to show you guys some stuff about this car. Now, I'm sure there's a whole bunch to it, and I'm not going to get to everything. I've only had this car for like half a day at this point, but there's some stuff that I found out already, which are really cool. I would love to show you guys. So with that said, let's go into the first thing, and that is this panoramic sunroof, which is, to me, pretty crazy because you have a panoramic sunroof in a sedan. I'm just not used to that. I'm sure there's other cars that have that, but personally, I usually see that in SUVs. But really cool that you have it in a sedan, and it goes pretty far back here, as you guys can tell. So pretty cool. Something else that's very interesting, I'm sure you guys saw in the previous clip, look at this steering wheel. Again, this isn't a sports car, at least I don't think it's supposed to be, but apparently BMW thinks that it is because they have a flat bottom, they have a red racing stripe. It's definitely super thick, and it feels like a racing steering wheel. It's pretty big. That's the one downside. Like, it doesn't feel very race car-like because it's so big. Again, you get that blue ring around the BMW logo. Personally, don't like it, but it is what it is. And just overall, guys, this interior is stunning. It even has the Bowers and Wilkins sound system, which you get these really cool cages around the speakers. Something that's a common theme with this car is you don't really have a lot of physical buttons. Even things like this, where you have your seat settings, it's now like all these touch buttons, which, you know, it is what it is. I'm not crazy about it, but that's just the way of the future, I guess. That does carry on in the interior over here. By the way, if you guys are wondering where the AC vents are, they're all hidden and integrated into the dash, which actually looks really cool, super sleek, super like streamlined. If you want to know how you control it, it's right over here. So if I just zoom in right there, you guys can see you can move this up and down, and it's actually moving the vents for you. So that's how you move the vents around rather than actually grabbing the vent itself. I'm sure some people aren't gonna like that, but personally, I actually think it's pretty cool, especially how they integrated all this ambient lighting throughout the car. It just really lets that ambient lighting show. Now, for reference, guys, if we go into interior lighting here, we go into ambient lighting. If I just quickly change this into something a little more interesting, like this blue, guys will see it all changes. Absolutely beautiful. Like, this is honestly one of my favorite things about this car. And it's not just plain lights. Like, you guys can see it does have some design in it over there, and then over here has that like diamond look, that emerald look, whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, guys, the theme of non-physical buttons just continues over here on the center console. This is really cool. This is actually a volume wheel. So you can adjust your music volume with this wheel because, again, you don't really have anything over here. Normally you would have a volume knob, but now you have this volume wheel. It's a big change from what we're all used to, but I actually really like it because you can just be driving here, your hand over here, quickly change the volume. It feels super good quality, by the way. You guys can probably hear that. But just overall, guys, this interior is a very nice place to be. It's super comfortable, it's super plush. I know they try to force some like sporty stuff on you, like the racing style steering wheel, which feels more of like a race car steering wheel than my M3, which is pretty funny. This would be such a nice car to just, you know, drive around in. Like not race or drive around canyons or even track, but just drive around in. And I think that's what BMW really wanted this car for. I feel like some of this other M stuff, it's all just for branding and marketing, so people think that it's a cooler car than it maybe actually is. But really focusing on what I think this car was designed for, you know, a luxury electric commuting car, I think it does a great job. So with all that said, guys, we're gonna take this thing on a little cruise. Now again, this is not my car, so we're not gonna go crazy, but I just want to take you guys along with me, tell you my impressions about this car and some of the cool features, because this thing being an electric car is very interesting. It's very different, at least to what I'm used to. So with this car, obviously it is dead silent. When you turn it on, you get like a sound, but that's the only sound you hear. Like this car is dead quiet. It's an electric car, so even while you're driving, it's the same thing. Look at that 4 Series, by the way. It's a nice color. Anyways, this thing is dead silent, but it really gets up and goes. The whole thing about electric cars having instant torque is no joke. These things are so fast. Honestly, it's pretty crazy. And by the way, guys, you can make this car a little faster. It has like a little mini sport mode. It's this paddle shifter right over here. So if you press on this, you get like a turbo mode, which lasts 10 seconds. It basically just gives you extra power, so if you're trying to like merge onto the highway or something like that. But otherwise, while you're driving this car, guys, you get a lot of like fake sounds. So whenever you accelerate, I don't know if you guys were able to hear it on camera before, but it kind of gives you like this spaceship sound, which is very interesting. Obviously, it's trying to give you that experience of you accelerating. Also, when you put the car in reverse, you'll also get some sounds, but it's just a little weird. The nice thing is, though, I think you can turn those sounds off. In my opinion, guys, one of the benefits of driving an electric car is how quiet and calm it is. It feels very chill. I feel like I can have someone in here and have a normal conversation, and you know, you just don't really hear the car, you don't really hear the exhaust. And because this is a 5 Series, it does a really good job of, you know, blocking out all the other road noise. The suspension feels like it holds you in pretty well. I feel pretty planted taking corners. The steering feel itself, very soft and very floaty. And trust me, guys, this thing definitely accelerates. Like this thing is honestly, I don't know if it's faster than my M3, but the sensation that it gives you is pretty crazy and definitely on par, I would say, with the M3. And it's probably because you just get all that torque right away. If these people would move out of my way, I would give you a quick pull. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this thing accelerates like it just gets up and goes, man. I don't know if it has launch control, but I really wish it did if it doesn't. Like driving an electric car is fun in its own way. Yeah, you don't get the sounds, you don't get the dramatic like exhaust notes, but and like also just shifting between gears, but it's fun in its own way. Now, personally, guys, would I replace my M3 with an electric car? I never would, but I will say, oh my goodness, this thing really puts you back in your seat. I will say I would happily replace a 330i, which is like my daily driver, with an electric car, because that's without the boost too. Again, guys, if you press on that button, you get the extra, oh my goodness. I'm driving it, still catches me off guard. Oh my god. I feel like the camera's just jumping everywhere. Yeah, I honestly like electric cars a little more now. What I think I've learned from driving this car for only half a day at this point is I don't hate electric cars. I think I just hate Teslas. I hate their soulless design, their minimalistic interiors. However, this car, it still looks like a BMW. The interior is beautiful, very eloquently designed. Would I ever get one as my sports car? No, I always want a nice combustion engine, you know, loud exhaust, fun car for the weekends, but to drive here and there and to save money on gas, honestly, I would happily get an electric car. Would I do it anytime soon? Probably not, but I figured since I have this car as a loaner for a little while, I'd make this video, show you guys what it's all about, because honestly, I thought it was really interesting. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop it a like. Let me know what you guys think about electric cars down in the comments below, specifically about electric BMWs. But with that said, this video is pretty much done, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.